and it tells you about each one. And this is a really cool way to provide information in a nonfiction text because they just add in a little header above each picture. So these are like little fact boxes and they tell you about each one. So this is another cool one. So it says fur fact. Most black panthers are jaguars or leopards without spots. So this one is jaguar and their spots are called rosettes. I wonder why that is. Like if you look at them, I guess they kind of look like roses, right? So that might be why they're called rosettes. Cheetahs have what's called polka dots. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Leopard have C-shaped spots. Okay, I see that. Like right here, they're C-shaped. Tigers have stripes. And then lions just have plain solid fur, right? And then it says a baby fact. Oh, the babies. A baby lion has white spots, which it usually outgrows. So when they're born, they might have white spots where when they grow up, it's all one solid color fur. And then this one talks about all the different types of skunks. Did you know that there were so many different types of skunks? I didn't. That is a weird random fact. And look, they're all different, right? I think this one's kind of cool. It looks kind of like a zebra. This one's called a zorilla. This one is a hog-nosed skunk. So I'm guessing its nose kind of looks like a hog. And you can kind of tell from the picture. I don't know if you can tell from that far away. This one is the spotted skunk, which I think is the cutest one. You think it would be fluffy and furry and cute, but it's not. A hooded skunk. A striped skunk. Baby skunks are born with stripes, so they're born with their fur, the way they're going to stay. Unlike the lion, who's born with spots, and then they disappear as they get older. This is a stinky page. In this book, we will feature the striped skunk. So they're focusing on the striped skunk, so this one. And I guess that would mean that that's probably the most common skunk, I'm guessing. Okay, so it shows you a range of where these animals lives, okay? So the jaguar lives in much of Central America and South America. So if you look here, you see that little spot? This is what's called a key. So the key in the text helps us in this map to identify where in the world this skunk, or not this skunk, the jaguar is located, right? So if I look all over the world, the only place that I'm really going to find jaguars is going to be right here in Central America, right? And then in South America. And they call it Central America because it's right in between North America and South America. So it's right there in the center. So they call it Central America. But you'll find jaguars in this area, right? And then sometimes you might even see one like at a zoo or a animal sanctuary. Somewhere safe for the animals to live where they have lots of room to run around and to play, right? And then over here it shows you another key. This one tells you the skunk territory. So it's just the yellow spot. So look at all the places where the skunks are. There are so many skunks all over the world. So they're not only just in Central and South America, they're in North America, Europe, Africa, Asia. The only place that they're really not is in Australia. So Australia doesn't really have any of these animals, but I bet you can guess what other type of animal lives there. And those animals are super powerful. Have you ever seen one? They are, you guessed it, a kangaroo. So kangaroos are very powerful too. And they're very, very muscular, right? Because they do all that hopping around and stuff. So, all right. A jaguar sometimes is a crepuscular hunter. I had to look up that word, crepuscular, because it doesn't really give me a pronunciation guide for it, but it does give me a definition for it. So it tells me what that means. So a crepuscular means an animal that hunts at dawn and at dusk. So basically it hunts only first thing in the morning and then right before it's nighttime outside. So an artifact, there is a famous sports car called the Jaguar. Those are fancy cars. Miss Carpenter does not own that car. No. Dawn is when the sun first rises. Dusk is when the sun sets. So dawn is also called daybreak. Dusk is also called twilight. So it's just different times of day for them to do it. And it shows you in the morning, first thing, like when the sun's rising, and then at night, right before it gets really dark. Because they're not nocturnal, so they can't see in the dark, right? So they have to go hunting when there's a little bit of light left outside, because if not, they won't be able to see what they're hunting, right? Then that leads us to the skunk. So skunks actually are nocturnal. I didn't know that until I read this book. But a nocturnal hunter is one that hunts at night. So to get skunks sometimes means to go fishing and not catch anything. So that's a fun fact about it. But it tells us there are some other nocturnal animals that you may know of. So if you look at these, there is the bat, of course, the only flying mammal. That one's really cool, right? You also have the raccoon. That one's a raccoon. What? Sorry, that one's not a raccoon. This is the raccoon. The raccoon comes out at night. That's why sometimes your parents might be worried about leaving the trash can lid off or something like that, especially out in the country. They live there. I have a crazy story about a raccoon. I'll have to tell you guys later. This one is a possum. Possums are also nocturnal animals, and they also come out at night, right? And they are able to see in the dark. And then, of course, your skunk. And it looks like a crab, but I don't really know what animal that is because it doesn't tell me. I wish it told me what animal that was. But I guess it could be a crab. So, and then on the next page, it tells us what types of things it eats, right? And this could be really important to determining which one's going to win, whether the cheetah's going to win or the skunk's going to win, because whichever one has the bigger prey is more than likely going to be the one that wins, right? Because it's going to be able to defeat the smaller prey. So this one says, zoologists study jaguars and discover that they eat dozens of different types of animals. And so it lists all of the different types of animals. So it says river otters, monkeys, deer, tapirs. That one was in this book, the Animal Nose book, the tapir. I didn't read you guys that one, but it did have that one in it. So the tapir was in this book as well. So, but that one is a really interesting animal. If you get a chance, you should definitely look that up on Nat Geo. Snakes, capybaras, right? Those are big in Louisiana, where I'm from. They have a lot of capybaras down in South America, Central America. Wild boars, fish, of course, because they're good swimmers, so they can get fish. Caimans and crocodiles, frogs and turtles. So again, it not only gets land animals, but it also gets the animals that live in water because it's good in the water, right? So it's kind of multi-purpose, so it can go anywhere to find its food. Where the skunk is not a good swimmer as much, but it says skunks are omnivores. They eat plants and animals, not like the jag, because the jaguar only eats animals, right? It doesn't eat plants. But the skunk does eat plants. I wonder which one would probably win. Let's look at some of its prey. So it says a skunk would gladly eat spaghetti or a cheeseburger too. I doubt it, but you know, whatever. They probably find it in a trash can. Animals that eat only plants are herbivores. For example, elephants and pandas are herbivores. But because it eats both, it's an omnivore, right? And so where jaguars are only carnivores, so they only eat meat, right? So it says they eat fruits and vegetables, of course. They eat insects and larvae. They eat small reptiles and amphibians. They eat small mammals, eggs, fish, snails, spaghetti. And then, of course, they put a cheeseburger, even though they probably don't really eat spaghetti and cheeseburgers because you can't really find those things in the wild. Alright, so this video has now been going on for 17 minutes, which is a really long time. I'm sorry I talk so much. But tomorrow afternoon, I'll record the finish of the book so that way we can take a guess. But in the meantime, because I don't want to take too much of your time, think about which animal is going to win and why you think they're going to win and kind of compare the two. I've put some links up for you, so take a look at those and have fun. I miss y'all. Bye. Love you.